Hello and welcome to Motors for the Masses Reviews the Grand Tour. This is episode 1 and we have just finished watching the Grand Tour. I say just finished watching. We watched it last night and we're reviewing this morning.
Indeed.
This is Malcolm.
Hi.
And I'm Mark. And we are going to be your hosts for this episode and every episode throughout this series. What we are going to do, we have ourselves a scoreboard, and on this scoreboard we will review and score out of 10 these categories. We're going to be looking at content, comedy factor, stupidity, annoyance, music, Clarkson, Hammond and May, and the location, and we'll be giving our marks out of 10, and we shall be reviewing these every week and see if you agree. That is shit tea. Awesome. Sorry. We have our cups of tea, we have our bourbon biscuits, and we're ready to go. So the first thing I want to talk about was the surprise that it was not actually on the 18th. It started at 11:30 at night on the 17th, which is a bit of a bonus.
Well, I don't actually know if that's when it actually went live, because someone just pinged up on the Facebook, it's on now.
Right.
So I just ran in and checked it, but it could have been up from before that.
I only knew because you sent me a message to say, it's on! And how excited was I?
Either which way, it was early.
So we are currently in Malcolm's house, and we shall be reviewing in different locations, but mostly this one, over the next 12 coming weeks.
That'd be nice if we could do different locations like the Grand Tour.
It would, actually. Good idea.
Go somewhere different just to do
there
the
you
review.
go. A new Motors for the Masses exclusive. We'll be changing locations. If it's sunny, maybe we can do it outside.
That'd be good.
Okay, when we opened the programme, and when the programme opened, the first thing you see is Jeremy Clarkson leaving the BBC, well, what we assume to be the BBC building, and handing in his pass on a rainy day. Was it a rainy day?
It was very bleak.
It was, yes. As if to say, it's what do we think of that?
That was typical Britain, isn't it? There's always raining.
It's not.
It's portraying the mood, isn't it? It's a solemn moment. It's rainy, it's dull.
It's sad.
Kind of
the end of an era.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm surprised actually BBC allowed them to do that. Although it doesn't say BBC on the building.
No, it doesn't.
So it's just led us to believe it's the BBC.
Yeah.
We all know. But then I was actually excited by the first bit. When you see him, he's in the gate to LA, and then he comes out. And what do they have in the car park? A Galpin Rocket Mustang. Oh, gorgeous.
I just saw a Mustang. I'm not really au fait on the Mustangs, I'm afraid.
725 brake horsepower of pure beastiness. Lovely. Although, as far as I'm concerned, not enough sound.
Or maybe they'll come back to that. Maybe that was a little snippet of something that may reappear in another episode.
They better do, because this Mustang thing is something I want to touch on a little bit later when we talk about the supercar
Well,
segment.
we did see, didn't we? We've got the Mustang versus the RS3, is it? Is that what that is?
Yes, we've got like an EcoBoost
up.
face-off
Yeah.
by the looks of that.
So that'll be interesting.
That will be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Tea, by the way, very British cup of tea.
It's a really terrible cup of tea, though.
It is. Are we having bourbon? Help yourself to a bourbon of your own.
My own.
Have a biscuit.
I'm good for the moment.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, me too, because otherwise I'm going to end up talking with bits of chocolate biscuit in my
there's gonna be
teeth.
flying out all over the place, gobbing it everywhere. Not good.
The first bit, I actually thoroughly enjoyed that, and I actually felt a little bit of excitement coming through. When you see them get in the car, and then he's joined by his mates with a little smile.
Yeah, the big grins on their faces, that was nice. What I didn't quite get with that whole sequence is, what were all those mad vehicles driving through the desert?
Well, I thought at first it's gonna.
No, it happened.
The set is fixed. Okay. All right. Where were we? Oh yeah, all these weird
Nonsense vehicles. Yeah, what was that all about?
It was kind of like a Mad Max thing.
Oh yeah.
Sort of all these weird vehicles going across the desert. I thought perhaps it's a bit sort of Mad Max Fury Road. But on the other hand, I also thought, oh, perhaps they're going to be in this episode.
No, I wasn't expecting that, if I'm honest.
No.
I mean, I know they spent loads of money on the opening sequence. I don't know if it was the $2.5 million they said it was, but certainly a fair amount of money was spent on that, with the planes and whatnot.
Well, perhaps because it was, we're in America and this is what America has.
What, sand flying in the air?
No,
There's
lots
so
of
many vehicles.
weird, crazy vehicles.
Yeah, true.
So perhaps that's what it was.
But surely New Zealand would have been better for that, because there's just no restrictions on what you can build in New Zealand.
Yeah, but there's some pretty wacky ones. Do you see that massive trike?
Yeah,
Massive
well,
weird trike built out of...
Mad.
It looked like paper clips. It was a bit weird, wasn't it?
Paper car. Paper
What did you think? Comment below. Let us know what you thought.
My opinion is it's a little bit pointless.
Yeah. Well,
It was fun, I suppose, but
it was different, and the whole thing, and the music that went with it, I thought was really good.
I
It was
don't know
like
what that was.
Sunshiny Day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a new opening,
Yeah.
new beginnings.
Oh, we've just gone from dreary leaving of BBC in the rain.
We had.
And now it's a bright sunny day, so that's good.
I don't think we're going to get that every episode. I think that is
No,
just
that's a special.
look. This is a new thing we're doing. Welcome to something fresh. The only problem I found with that opening was it seemed to sort of glorify them as rock gods. It's like, look at us, we are awesome.
Yeah.
We know that you think we're awesome. Here we
We're
are.
just going to play on that a little bit.
They did play on that. It's like, here we are. Yes, we have arrived.
Although I was amused by the, his, what's his face? He was sacked from this, sacked from that,
Yes.
sacked from this, and then May chirps up. Hammond was fired from here, fired from there, fired from there, and then Jeremy not fired at all, which was very interesting, as we all think that Jeremy was fired from the BBC for punching producer man, whatever his name was.
Which he wasn't.
However, he wasn't. Yeah.
But he was fired from Top Gear.
Well,
So even though
I
he,
don't know.
he was fired from the programme, but he wasn't fired from the company.
No, he still works for the BBC.
All the other ones that they were talking about, when Richard and James May got fired, did they get fired from the company or did they get fired from the channel? Because they're all doing radio and news and stuff. So I should imagine, like, the newspapers are owned by a group.
Yeah.
So he probably wasn't
fired.
fired from the group, but fired from the newspaper, which is the same sort of thing. He's fired from Top Gear, but not the BBC. And let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made notes.
Made
I've
some
made
notes.
6 pages of notes. How many pages do you make?
This one, just one.
1? Okay,
Yeah.
I've got 6 pages. I'm very thorough.
Yeah, but I actually watched the programme.
I can multitask. Regardless of what women say, men, like myself, can multitask. I think I can multitask. I did make a note about the Mustangs.
As did I.
We noticed they had...
First cars on GT.
Yes.
Mustangs.
I know, I was very excited about that.
Yeah.
They had the Galpin rocket. It's Galpin, isn't it? Gilpin?
I've no idea. I just saw a rocket on the back
Rocket.
of the car.
Yeah, it's an awesome car. I know it's got like 725 brake horsepower.
Yeah, I bet
Crazy
it hasn't.
like that.
I bet it hasn't. That's
722.5.
probably it'd be some ridiculous number that's not quite there, but they didn't want to put 720 because it doesn't look as good.
No, and I think James May was in the silver, just basic S550 GT,
Was that just a normal GT?
just a V8 GT, I believe. And I can't work out, by the looks of what Hammond was driving, the red one, it looked like it had a Saleen badge on the grille. But it had the GT350 spoiler, and I can't work out if that was the GT350 or the Saleen.
Well, what we could do is just quickly pop to that point of the show and have a look.
Back in a minute. Okay, it looks like from the picture, actually, the white one is not a standard GT. The white one, I think, is actually a GT350. The blue one is the rocket in the middle, and the red one, I think, is a Saleen. By the looks of the badge, it looks like it's got a Saleen badge on the left-hand side of the grille. They've all got different bonnets. That is not a standard bonnet. But it doesn't have the GT350 spoiler. Ah, maybe it's a Roush. The rocket has a massive grille.
That reminds me of a concept drawing of, I think it was Mondeo or something, that came out.
Yeah, but it's very different because it takes it away from the traditional grille style of the Mondeo Mustang.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure about the spotlight eyes. See, I like that red one. That Saleen is sexy. The white one is meh. It's not
I think
too...
if I choose between
dissimilar.
those, I think I'd probably go for the white one.
No, I'd go for the red.
I don't like that spoiler.
I love that spoiler. I'm right and you're wrong.
Absolutely not.
Well, as long as it means they're going to bloody come back and review them.
That'd be nice if they did.
But I don't think they
Or
will,
something
because
on it.
this is America. And we didn't see any more Mustangs.
Did they not do another episode in America?
Oh, maybe. It's an epic beginning, I felt.
I didn't see the point of it. It was just this massive extravaganza of nonsense.
It was. I did have a happy feeling. I was a bit sort of joyous and a bit. Oh!
Yeah, but is that simply because you were watching the very first episode of GT, having thought, oh no, Top Gear's finished, what's going to happen now?
I could feel their relief. It was like.
Yeah.
I was happy for them.
Yeah.
I liked the shot of the tent
Yeah.
and the drone shooting down.
Oh, that was amusing.
Yes.
I wonder if someone actually did shoot that down, just for fun.
Unless they just
Well, they probably did
rigged
on
it so they can
purpose,
switch
but-
off the power. Oh, unless they just threw a GoPro in the air and filmed it coming down.
Could have done. Still funny though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's still funny.
Yes.
And that's a fair old tent, isn't it?
It was a fair old tent, and it was a nice crowd. Very reminiscent of Fast and Furious
Yeah.
when they their
of course,
race
yeah,
wars.
yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. I'm not quite sure what that was. Race wars.
Well, it was kind of a
Crowd
symbolic thing of them
at the entrance.
entering the crowd.
It was. The montage. Very teasing, I thought.
There's a lot of good stuff coming.
There is a lot of good stuff coming. I'm concerned that a lot of that good stuff coming wasn't in this episode. We've got the EcoBoost face-off coming.
Well, is that an EcoBoost? I imagine it is.
It's got to be. It's got to be. With an
I can't see him
RS3,
putting the
there's
V8
no
against-
point having an RS3 versus a V8.
Because it's the same engine, isn't it?
It's the same engine. It'd be
2.3.
interesting to see the different in weight, the different in the way they've set up the car, they set up the suspension.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how they've managed to put the EcoBoost in each car.
How do they compare power to weight and all the rest of it?
I don't know. Let's find out. In typical style, they have lots of blowy upness and silliness. I'm looking forward to that. I like a
Yeah.
good blowy up thing. Although I don't want it to be too staged. That's one thing I found with the other Shan't Be Mentioned programme. It became too staged in the end.
Well, they were running out of things. They were running out of steam. I think you said that already.
Subscribe. Subscribe.
And here.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the breast. Ow.
Don't subscribe to the breast.
Bit
It's
of
wrong.
a bit of a nipple tweak there.
Oh, lovely.
Yes. What I am interested to see is they've been advertising about this new Drive Tribe driven thing, and are they going to incorporate that in the programme? I'm not sure they are. I think that's like a separate
You
entity
mean like mentioning
online.
like readers' letters type things?
Well, readers' letters and things that certain groups get up to, because they're
Yeah.
going to have online videos. The reason why they've got this is to create a YouTube following for people that are fans of the Grand Tour and have their own tribe.
And cars in general, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just, we need you to subscribe if you're watching. and you
Please
haven't
subscribe now. Motors for the Masses on YouTube. Go!
already. Yeah.
We'll give you a minute to subscribe.
Okay, so minimise, subscribe, full screen, SMS.
And we're back. Right, okay, so I knew he would re-educate us about the Americans.
Absolutely,
that was
yeah.
obvious
Given,
that was
isn't it?
coming, yes. And I agree with him 100%.
Especially James.
What do you mean?
Why is the steering wheel on the wrong side of the car?
That was brilliant. I love that. Yes. Why would you drive like that? That was funny. I enjoyed that. Yes. Oh yeah, I couldn't quite work out what he said about the truck. I couldn't hear what the crowd was
he
going.
asked
What's
what
this?
it
Then he
is.
went. I couldn't quite hear what the
I
crowd was
heard
shouting.
some people say truck.
Did you?
Yeah, some people said truck because that's what it is, isn't it? Essentially,
Do you think when they go to Australia they go, "It's a fucking ute"?
possibly.
Not quite sure they go the fucking. Is that necessary? No. Do they do that in Australia? If you're Australian, please
Wow.
let us know if you put every word in the same sentence as the word fucking. Unless it's bloody.
I don't even think they say that.
It's a bloody ute. No?
No.
Just me. Sorry. Okay, they brought up the Prius. I thought they were actually going to go into a feature on that.
And why do people keep calling it Prius? I thought it was Prius.
Prius.
The first time I ever heard it called a Prius was
Potato.
the other day
Potato.
when they did an interview with someone, South Africa I think it was, in Johannesburg. They did an interview and they called it the Prius there.
It's like the Americans in
Yeah.
general.
I'm very confused by it. I thought it was a Prius.
Prius, whatever it is, it's shit. It's fugly, that's what it is.
It has
It's
its
really
place.
ugly. It doesn't have its place.
Well, it does.
Yeah, it
'Cause
does.
was it the first hybrid that we had?
Yes, but it's not very economical.
No, but it makes it important. It's a milestone. It's a
Economical is the
footstep.
wrong word. It's not very environmentally friendly.
No, well, none of them are they? What with the lithium batteries and whatnot?
Exactly.
Lithium, you have to mine it out of the ground. And
But why does it have to be so damn ugly?
Well, was it when it came out?
Yes.
It looked fairly similar to all the other Toyotas on the market.
The concept they had was that stupid. I've got to stop saying that. The stupid wheel covers, like they had on the Citroen Dolly.
Oh, yeah, but is that not streamlining? That's to cut down on
I don't care what it is. It's
drag or
bloody ugly. If you agree with me, comment below. But if you agree with him, don't bother. No, please let us know what you actually think of the Prius, whatever it's called.
It's got a stigma, hasn't it? But then so did the Skoda Estelle, and look at that now.
It wasn't electric and it wasn't ugly.
No, I know. Well,
it was just
ugly.
shit.
Well, it wasn't though, was it? It was winning races and rallying and all the rest of it.
Everyone goes on about that. Everyone goes on about that. You're right. It won the Lombard Rally, and it did win the Lombard Rally many, many, many times. But it wasn't a standard Skoda Estelle that won the Lombard Rally.
Granted, but then none of the rally cars are standard.
It just had a Skoda Estelle body.
Well, yeah.
You know, that car is not available to buy on the road in the garage.
No, but look at the
garage
stigma.
for the Americans.
Garage, yeah. So the next bit, I think, really to mention is these hybrid supercars.
Yes.
And we started off with the Porsche and the McLaren.
Yeah.
And then obviously May turned up with the pointless Ferrari.
But it's not in the same category. I wouldn't put that in the same category. Because like Clarkson pointed out, you can't just have electric.
No.
That was the weirdest drag race I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I love his comment about the milk float. Congratulations, yours is the fastest milk float.
Yeah, the best milk float. Yeah. Miles per gallon.
Oh, yes.
Between the P1 and the 918. Now, the P1 getting 39, I believe it was, could be wrong, miles per gallon. Now, that's not terribly good. And then the 918, when Hammond turned around and said it's got 94, I believe it was.
Yes.
Miles per gallon. And who owns Porsche? I thought that was brilliant.
VW.
Yeah, and we all know what the stigma is with VW.
Now, out of those three, when they got the three together, the Porsche, the McLaren P1, and the LaFerrari, the Ferrari.
The Ferrari.
Well, I don't know, he says that because it's not LaFerrari, is it?
No, it's the Ferrari,
It's
LaFerrari, so it's the Ferrari, the Ferrari.
But is it? Because I would have thought it was just the Ferrari.
Well, no, because it's
it's
like saying the Ferrari 458. It's the Ferrari, LaFerrari.
Is it not just the LaFerrari?
Probably.
So it's the Ferrari.
It's the Ferrari, and then they're saying what model it is. Hence the Ferrari.
So the model is actually LaFerrari.
Yeah, which
That's
is
really arrogant.
The Ferrari.
That's such an arrogant
So
thing
does
to
that
do.
mean it's the Ferrari? They're saying then that's the best Ferrari that they're ever going to make.
That's what. Yeah, that's my my take on that.
it.
Yeah.
But then of course they could have the Ferrari 2.
Well, I guess so. Which means, I guess, that Ferrari are never going to better themselves from now on. When you look at those three cars, I personally, in that livery, love that Porsche. It was very speed racer.
I don't like it. I don't like it simply because it's a Porsche.
I don't like Porsches. You're right. I don't like Porsches. I'm on about the looks.
It looks like every other Porsche.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
How does it?
It looks like a Porsche.
It doesn't look like a 911.
Well, so it doesn't have the headlights reminiscent to any other Porsche that's
It's more like a Carrera GT than it is a...
So it looks like another Porsche. Why do I keep saying Ferrari? It's not a Ferrari.
And Ferraris don't look the same.
Well, they have some differences. They mess
You see a Ferrari, you know it's a Ferrari. You see a Lamborghini, you know it's a Lamborghini. You don't need to see the badge to go, oh, it's a Lamborghini.
Granted. But...
You see a Ford, you know it's a Mondeo.
Pretty much. Yeah, they're all Mondeos, aren't they? Or a Jaguar.
They've all got the same grille on the same front end.
It's a selling feature, it's a styling thing.
Yes.
But, I don't know, be creative. Go back to when we built things like the 928. What a great car that was.
Or the old 345, the 356.
Which one was that?
The little speedster.
Oh, like the little... Yeah, I know the one you mean.
Yeah. I don't like Porsche simply because they all look like 911s. And I am actually liking this new one because it's not very 911. It is quite Carrera GT-y. And I do like it. And in that livery with the red stripes with the numbers, I think it's pretty cool.
It's got a very GT car look about it, hasn't it?
Now, I want to talk about a little bit about the camera angles. I'm really impressed with how they did that. Not just a follow-on, but they obviously had a camera car on the track with them.
Going the other way.
Going the other way, or following them.
Thing going on.
Yeah, and the way that it goes off track and you see it go around the corner. I think they've really done well with the camera angles on this.
Well,
much
they can do
better
that
than
with
the old program.
big old booms and things, can't they?
but I really epic and quite low down as they go over the brow of the hill, and then the sparks. I think they really did well.
Awesome,
The filming of it was fantastic.
Yeah.
That seemed to be the main focus of the programme, those 3 cars. And to me, it went on far too long. They put it in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Now, I would have much preferred to see part 1, just about those 3 cars, and part 2, about the Mustangs.
Yeah, maybe. But we've seen stuff like that before, even on the previous show, where they would have...
Yeah, but that's just when they do challenges
and then
stuff.
they'd do something and there'd be... Well, it sort of was challenges, wasn't it?
No, all they did was a load of drag races. They kept doing them.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to see, though, that it seems to be more about the driver. I like the way they went on about the shoes. That was quite funny.
Yeah, it was a nice excuse.
It was. But it seems to be more about the driver and how quickly you can get off the line and how quickly you can launch the car rather than how quick the car is. They didn't censor.
Well, they censored fuck.
They did censor
But not
fuck.
shit.
They're not shit. And bloody. May did the drag race.
Oh, yeah, and he lost it.
No, it's Clarkson. It's Clarkson. Did the drag race in the P1.
Oh, when he forgot to let go of the DRS?
Yeah, his face was sheer panic. As if he go, oh my god, I'm going to crash this £1 million
Well, you think,
supercar.
how fast was he going? And that was getting pretty twitchy and squirrely under the braking there. He was going over a little apex in the track, and that must have been quite a worrying moment.
But it's good to see. I like to see that kind of thing because it shows that they're not like these super keen drifters.
Yeah, they're not racing car gods, are they?
They're not.
I mean, they're good drivers.
They screw up sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's good to see.
And I quite like the bit where you were mentioning there about May, and he did on the second run. The back went, didn't it? And he lost traction, and that's why he finished so slow. But
yeah.
I think the only car that didn't really fluff up on any of them runs was the Volkswagen.
Yeah.
I mean the Porsche. Yeah.
Yeah, the Beetle.
Yeah. It was interesting that the 3 cars that they've chosen to start the whole thing off were the 3 cars that towards the end of the last programme...
Well, at least 2 of them.
Well, they were talking about battling all 3, but Porsche, I believe it was, said they didn't want to be in the battle.
No, that's right.
And it took them some time to get it round, and they mentioned it maybe the second to last episode or something, I can't remember. But it never ever happened. There was never this hybrid battle between the Porsche, the P1 and the Ferrari.
Maybe Porsche wanted time to tweak their car to make sure
Possibly.
it was going to come out
They wanted to
pretty
make sure
high
it was
up.
going to do
It
well.
was going to compete well. Being the Grand Tour, being in America, they weren't American supercars. Why didn't they have the Corvette? Why didn't they have the Galpin Rocket? Why didn't they have the new Dodge
Charger,
Viper or something?
Was it the Challenger Wildcat?
Or the Hellcat.
Hellcat.
Yeah, the Hellcat. Why didn't they have these 3 cars? I guess these 3 cars have been out a while,
Yeah.
but there's new versions of them, and they had these 3 cars. I actually thought, oh great, they're going to do a feature about these 3 Mustangs, and they didn't. They choose 3.
I think
a
with
British car, an Italian car, and a German car.
But I think what they've done there is really it's an introduction to say, look, we're in America. We've got some Mustangs. They're red, white, and blue. Brilliant. That fits for both Britain and American flags. So I don't know. I think that's just what that was all about.
As you can probably tell, I'm very much into Mustangs myself. I have 2 Mustangs. I have a 1971 Mach 1 and a 2006 GT V8, and obviously our tablecloth is Mustangy. You like Mustangs.
They're all right.
You don't really like my Mustang.
I'm not.
Because every time we modify it, everything turns into be a
it's-
pain in the arse.
Yeah, it's a proper pain. They're a bit kind of meh.
Really?
Yeah, there's so much nicer things on the market.
I often wonder why I'm friends with you.
Uh,
Yeah, the conversation street. I like the fact that they said they're going to do different little the different intros for each episode.
yeah, it's a bit.
But it wasn't a great intro. It was like 3 of them sitting on a black and white situation.
Yeah, fiddling with their chair.
Fiddling with chairs.
Yeah.
Okay, next thing I want to bring up was the test track.
The Ebola drone.
The Ebola drone. Very funny that. It does look pretty good. I can't believe they've got like an old granny's house on the end. And that,
Yeah, I mean, what was that site? Is it an old airfield?
it looks like an old airfield. But it does look pretty dangerous. If they're going to be hammering some cars around there, there's some
Well, that's what he said, isn't it? That's the
runoffs.
whole point.
There's no runoffs.
It's
There's
to trip-
sheep.
It's to trip to trip the cars up. Actually, have a reason for them to fail. And that's brilliant.
Although I think they missed a trick here because the bit they had on that big bend where they've got the unexploded bomb, I think they should have had
Well, yeah.
a massive arrow pointing to the ground that says unexploded bomb. Or,
Yeah.
like you say, some tape around
Some
it.
kind of cordon, yeah.
Yeah. What do we think about the American test driver? Not a fan. He seems a bit arrogant.
Yeah, but
And I can see him pissing me off.
They made it. Well, will they keep him? I don't know. Maybe it's just for this episode.
I hope it's only for this episode.
Because I think maybe they're playing a bit on the whole communist thing.
Yeah, a bit too much.
Was that just because he's crap? We'll make it funny.
I don't know. And they chose a fat American as well. He wasn't the slenderest of people, was he?
They said he's a NASCAR driver, presumably. I mean, I can understand that a NASCAR has like 800, 900 horsepower. But at the end of the day, they are stock cars.
And they are
They require
less weight.
Yeah. So why have a great chunky American bloke?
Perhaps he's an ex-NASCAR driver.
Clearly likes his steaks.
From the 70s.
Yeah.
He's just all shouty, moaning about the English. I know, obviously, being English, we moan about the Americans, so it's a bit of to and fro. Fair enough. Ha ha, brilliant. But please don't bring him back again, because he's bloody annoying.
Well,
and the Belgian guy...
They've already recorded all of this season, so...
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we'll see. And the Belgian guy...
Well...
Mind you, I think they are going to keep him.
Drive.
Because they said that... Because obviously Amazon's American.
Yeah.
And they said Amazon chose to have an American test driver, so I've got a feeling he's going to be there all season. And the Belgian guy...
He can drive, can't he?
He can drive.
And he had his moments where he's like, oh, hello,
yeah.
sort of thing in the P1 particularly.
Yeah. I thought it was a little bit amusing when Clarkson, they put up that Clarkson was
the subtitles.
doing the subtitles. Yeah.
I think it'd be quite nice to have, what's his name?
Ben Collins.
Ben Collins.
Yeah.
Not necessarily him, but I've seen him on other programmes where he talks while he's running the lap.
Or
and
someone
that's
like
quite nice.
Someone like what's his name?
Tanner Faust?
No, not Tanner Faust. Because Tanner Faust is tied to Top Gear, isn't he?
True.
I was thinking Tanner Faust, but who's the Ken Block?
Oh, Ken Block. Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah.
He can drive as well.
He can drift. He can drive.
Although he likes to drive very much sideways.
Yeah, but he's a rally driver as well,
It's
isn't he?
not the fastest way around a track, is it?
No, he's a rally driver come drifter, I think, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I suppose, yeah, pretty much
he's done other
sideways.
things, hasn't he? But yeah, I think he's a rally guy. But
I'm sure there's a lot more.
He likes his Gymkhana.
They could have had a British one, Tom Chilton or someone like that, a touring car driver.
There's loads, isn't there?
What do you think about the advertising corner? Your name here
Your
corner.
name here corner. Yeah, I did write that down actually.
You never know. If we become successful, we could have Motors for the Masses corner. That would be awesome.
Oh, as if that would happen. Honestly.
Why? It'd
be awesome.
That would be awesome, but it ain't going to happen, is it?
Celebrity segment.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I mean, it started off. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. He's jumping out of a plane. That's quite amusing. Is he going to land like on the tent? Have they got a hole in the top of the tent? Are they just going to come like at the front door and then ditch his parachute and just come running in? And then he didn't, and he just died. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, I can see there's an amusing thing here. And I chuckled a bit. It was okay.
Me too.
And then we had the guy walking over and the
With
snake, and I thought that's quite funny.
Well, I don't know. When I saw that, I just thought, oh god, no, it's not.
Yeah,
is
it was still amusing. And then there was the Carol Vorderman bit, and I thought, oh, well, she's in the audience. Fair enough. Maybe that was the real celeb. And then she's dead.
Yeah, I know, that was a bit.
And I thought,
crap,
okay, at this point, they're trying too hard.
Yeah, that was
it's not
too
funny
much.
anymore.
No, it wasn't funny. And I knew he was going to plummet to the ground when he said he's leaving it a bit late.
Yeah,
When
when he just dived, didn't he?
Yeah.
And yeah.
It was obviously going to happen. Then the snake bit, I don't even know who that guy was.
No. Well, I don't know who the first one was either.
No, neither do I. There's some unknown actor.
I know who Karen Vorderman is, but I'm not convinced that was Carol Vorderman.
Well, she had blonde hair.
Yeah.
And she's still quite fit. I must admit, Carol Vorderman, if you're watching, which I very much doubt it, you're actually quite fit.
I mean, is that...
What's the point in doing it?
Is it leading the way...
To say we're going
to have celebrities, but because this is the first episode, we didn't have one because we didn't want anything leaking, or I don't know.
I don't know.
It was odd.
It was too weird.
They were trying too hard. That I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that at all.
And
so we can agree on that.
We can agree it was a bit poo. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do the BMW M2.
I like that car.
I do. Now he said we're not going to do a proper test drive on it, and then they did do a proper test drive on it.
Well, not really. He didn't go full feature on it. He just talked about it on the track a bit.
I like the look of it.
It's a nice.
And I like the fact that it's balls out, arse end out.
Yeah,
slightly.
It's a driver's car. It's not the fastest car.
No, that was the funny thing. It turned out to be the slowest out of the BMW M's.
Yeah,
and pretty low down on the board.
Like you said, because it doesn't have all the silly stuff. It's just got that one switch that doesn't do anything.
Right.
It keeps it as a driver's car. You get in it, you hammer it round a corner, like an old Mark II Escort or something, you know,
Yes.
you just get in it and drive it.
I do, however, like their new digital board.
I do.
Because you see it go...
That's
Where's it going to stop? Where's it going to stop?
Yeah, I like that. But what I didn't like was like when they were doing the scores for the 3 cars with the, you know, the times.
Yeah.
I didn't know the times, and it would like ping up from the bottom. It was nonsense. Just pop it up on the screen.
Right.
You don't need all this animated nonsense.
But what do we think of the idea of celebrity brain crash? I thought it was pretty pointless, really. I don't understand what that was about.
Well, we've already broached on the dead celebrities. I think that's probably what it was all about.
The RAF bit, We're Better Than You, I thought it was quite amusing.
Royal
The
Air Force,
editing they did with that, with the
best Air Force
fighting,
in the world.
the blood, and the hide me on the table. It was quite amusing.
It was amusing, but again, it's that little bit of studio that's a bit try hard.
Right, yeah, you can see it was staged.
Yeah, but I liked it because it wasn't just a flowing segment. You'd normally just have... Is yours cold as well?
Cold and horrible.
And rank. Normally you just have... The cameras are on, you do your bit, that's finished, we go on to the next bit. But they had cuts where they changed the furniture, beat themselves up a bit. And
Yeah.
But the audience didn't change.
No, it didn't.
There was a woman that was stood behind...
Well, they had at one point going,
Clarkson.
USA.
Yeah, there was a woman
With
stood
big
behind
white teeth.
Clarkson with the big white teeth.
She was annoying.
Yeah. If they'd have messed their hair up or something,
Yeah.
just them people on the front row even would have been enough.
Yeah.
The ones that you could see, that would have been a better...
Or
moment.
one of them, like Clarkson, maybe had one of the audience members in a headlock or something.
Yeah, that'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Or,
Maybe a
better
couple of them
still,
laying on the floor or something.
one of the audience members had Clarkson in a headlock.
Oh, that'd have been even
that
better.
would have been brilliant.
Missed a thing there, didn't they?
They
That's the
did.
word I'm trying to
Yeah,
think
they
of
missed opportunity.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
Or maybe like Hammond laying on the table with one of them pretending to punch him in the stomach or something like that.
Yeah, that sort of thing. It's with the tyres.
Right.
They did lap times, and they said, okay, we agreed to use the same tyres. Now, that's fair from a certain...
Well, no, because they should go with the tyres that come from the manufacturer.
The manufacturer recommends a set of tyres for the car.
Yeah.
What they haven't done is made all of them cars weigh the same.
Yeah.
So putting same tyres on really makes no odds at all.
No, it doesn't, because
So I think...
tyres, we all know, different tyres work well on different cars.
Yeah, so you've got the P1, it's got a set of tyres on it that wasn't intended to have.
No, exactly. So they set
So-
up that car with the tyres that they planned for.
Well, they've set that car up to fail by taking the correct tyres off.
Yeah, because when you
it's
buy
a
that car-
competition. Yeah, it's a competition to say which car was best.
Yeah.
Tyres shouldn't come into it.
No, when you buy the Porsche, it comes with the tyres that it comes with.
Exactly.
It doesn't come with the tyres that have been on Top Gear. Like, oh,
That is the wrong programme as well.
it doesn't come with the tyres that have been on Top Gear, or the Grand Tour.
Has it been on the other one? I don't think they had them on the other one.
They did. They didn't mention the tyres, but they had the cars on there.
Did they?
So yeah, I think it was relevant.
Clarkson lost a bet there, didn't he?
He did. But now that I've read already,
Yeah, I saw it months ago.
yeah, that his house was knocked down.
Well, it wasn't knocked down, was it? He blew it up.
Well,
He actually blew up his house
but we knew that was coming.
to the dismay of the people who live in Chipping Norton or wherever it is he lives.
But the problem with that is, as we knew that was happening, because that's been in the news already.
Yeah, we've seen
We
it, yeah.
knew he was going to have the slowest lap time.
That's a fair point. I hadn't really considered that at the
Yeah.
time.
Maybe with the correct tyres, it would have been a different result.
Them cars need to be run, especially the P1, with its correct tyres.
Absolutely.
And I don't
Tyres
think,
recommended by the manufacturer.
I'm not Mr. McLaren, although that's the car I would choose out of those three.
Are you not?
No, I like McLaren. Don't get me wrong. I've been there, and it's an awesome factory. But I think
As a
should
disclaimer,
have
I'd
been-
just like to say that I am sure the Ferrari factory is equally as awesome as is the Porsche factory. Carry on.
downside with both of those, of course, they're in foreign countries.
But we're going to move on to our scoreboard.
Let's score it.
Each category is scored out of 10. So let's first go on the comedy factor. Out of 10, what would you say?
I laughed. There was amusing bits, which I then, after a while, decided was a bit too try-hard.
No, I agree.
Which we've talked about.
Yeah, I thought it was
Which
a bit...
does sort of detract from the comedy factor.
Yes.
Because I've got to the end of that and thought, oh, they're trying too hard. So I've had that downer right at the end, which has sort of spoilt the next bit, which may have been funnier. Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
comedy factor.
3, 2, 1, go. Ah, interesting.
Okay, so we're pretty close.
All right. Stupidity factor.
They could have been more stupid, but however, it's a car program. And there's a certain amount of responsibility to be had when it comes to driving, especially on the roads.
And
Now,
when
they were driving around in Portugal in the P1 and the Porsche, and there were some silly driving manoeuvres going on there. But we know, of course, that there's a camera car that's in the other lane, so it's obviously safe.
Yes.
But I think they could be shown to be a little bit more responsible when it comes to driving fast cars on public roads.
Yeah, completely agree with that.
So,
Okay.
stupidity factor.
Right.
I think, yeah, okay.
Oh!
Interesting.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, the higher, the more stupid they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah.
Annoyance. And
You have to weigh up all the pros and cons.
Well, I will give you my reasons after I've put the score.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
discuss that.
Alright, ready?
Okay.
And go. Ah!
Interesting.
Now, the reason why I scored a 7 is because mostly I was very...
Mustangs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't even say it. I'm so upset. I can't even say that.
You really wanted those Mustangs, didn't
I
you?
did. And as far as I'm concerned, being a programme in America, it should have been featured. Not only that,
They were in the title
they went on
sequence.
far too long about these 3 supercars
3 hybrids.
that
Yeah.
Test Driver is going to piss me off,
Yeah.
and the trying too hard bits, and the supposed to be funny but not funny guest segment. So music. Now there wasn't a lot of music in it, which
No.
I'm actually quite pleased about, because quite often when they do the music, it distracts from the sound of the cars
Yeah.
and distracts from the ambiance of them driving them.
Yeah.
I love that beginning segment. The Sunshiny Day song went really well with it.
It was
There's
an
only a little
intro,
bit of
so-
music in there.
It was an intro. It was a big hoo-ha to GT being launched. Stick a 9 in there.
9, okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Clarkson, what do we think of Clarkson? He is what he is, isn't he? He's just
He's
a loud
he's a-
oath who thinks he knows everything.
Yeah. That's meant to be an 8.
Ah, interesting. Hammond. He was quite
Do you
unusual.
know, he was pretty on
Yeah,
on
I'm
par
gonna-
today. I'm going to give him a 9.
Okay, and May.
I feel so sorry for May.
Me too.
He gets a real ribbon,
He
doesn't
does
he?
get the stick. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm going to go 9.
Ah,
as
interesting.
well.
We agreed on one. Woohoo! That's the only one we've agreed on.
Excellent.
Okay, location. What do we think about them being in the USA?
Well, I can understand it from the Grand Tour point of view, in that they're moving around, but there was absolutely no point at all to them being in the US.
Absolutely. I completely agree 100%. There was no reference to we're in America.
No.
They're just in a desert in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
which is very reminiscent again of Fast and Furious race wars.
Yeah. Minus
But-
the Studio 10.
They didn't go anywhere in America. They didn't visit any places. They didn't do anything typically American.
Yeah, there was no featuring where they were.
Exactly.
It was, in my opinion, pointless.
Yeah, completely agree. Right, interesting. Actually, I want to change that, actually. I want to change that, because I don't think I was fair. Okay.
You weren't fair and you made it a smaller score.
Yeah. Content overall.
Okay, so this is
Factoring in everything as the programme as a whole.
including the intro sequence.
Everything. From start to finish, the programme. I like the fact that it was an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, 70 minutes. But they have
Is that
said
going to be...
no, that's not a continuing thing.
Exactly.
Their aim is to have a 60-minute episode.
3,
Content overall.
2,
Okay.
1. Yes! We have an agreement on that too. Right. Okay, so let's tot up the scores. Okay, so... 65.
To my 61.
So, for episode 1 of the Grand Tour in the USA, I scored 65 and Malcolm scored 61 out of 90. Do you agree with that? Do you think it should be higher? Do you think it should be lower, and why?
Do you think we should perhaps add or remove any of these particular sections that we've scored on?
So that's our total for episode 1, 65 and 61 out of 90. And that brings us to the end of this episode, our first episode of Motors for the Masses reviews the Grand Tour. Thank you very much for watching. please tune in next time when we'll be back for episode 2 in Johannesburg. Looking forward to that one.
Except we won't be in Johannesburg.
We won't be in Johannesburg.
No.
We'll be
Probably at your house.
on a sofa.
Yeah.
Until then, thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.